So when she was pressed about her history of these things, of inflammatory and offensive comments, Green said this.
I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country, and it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions, and I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another.
We'll call them cracks. They could become much bigger than that in the MAGA movement, driven by the Epstein files. It's where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Our senior White House reporter, Von Hilliard, is here with me at the table. Political analyst, former Senator Claire McCaskill's here. Also joining us, political analyst and host of the Bulwark podcast, Tim Miller's here. Tim, I have to start with you. MTG, what do you think?
Look, it's hard to know what's going on in her brain, but I got to tell you this. I think it's important, in our society and our political culture, that we incentivize people coming back from the brink instead of just incentivize sending people over the edge. And I think that currently a lot of folks, whether it be social media algorithms or running for Congress, getting small dollar donors or getting attention on TV, like the incentives are for politicians and even regular people to say the most crazy thing possible, the most extreme thing possible. And so seeing somebody who went down that path try to back off it and apologize, I think is a good thing. I don't think that we don't need to be snowed by her. I mean, you read through her history. I've heard some people say, complain that all this strange new respect for Marjorie Taylor Greene means people are whitewashing her. I haven't seen a lot of whitewashing of her, actually. I've seen a lot of people playing her comments now and within the context of her past experience. I think that's appropriate. And here's the thing. Regardless of what you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene, the person, and whether this is a genuine Saul the Damascus moment or whether it's something else more personal, whether she's trying to get attention or something. A crack in the MAGA coalition is really only going to come from the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world. And so everybody that wants the MAGA coalition to crack, anyone that is fighting against MAGA, that thinks they're an authoritarian threat, should welcome people that were part of MAGA, even if it's too little too late. Because right now, I think we've tried the route of trying to bring in people that are of the kind of college-educated, suburban, former Republican, moderate McCain types. Me and you fit in that boat, Nicole. We grabbed as many of those as we could, and Donald Trump still won last time. And so in order to crack his coalition now, you need to get people that were with him the third time after the insurrection, and that's going to be a gnarlier process, okay? That's going to be a gnarlier process. We're going to have issues with all those folks, and so if she wants to say she's sorry, if she wants to speak to this, if she's representative of other people out there who feel betrayed by him, who went with him the third time, that's a good thing.
She is joined by Thomas Massie, who has really taken the lead on the discharge petition. Let me show you what he had to say on ABC.
The president has gone after you in some deeply personal ways. I mean, attacking you over and over again, even attacking you for regarding your wedding, your recent wedding, which, by the way, congratulations. What do you make of all that? And he's obviously supporting your primary opponents. I mean, what kind of retribution are you facing?
My wife told me, she said, I told you.
Invited Donald Trump. He's mad that he didn't get an invitation.
You know how the villains always, in the movies, you know how the villains always turn on their own in the movies. You know what I mean? This is like the movies where the villains always turn on each other.
Epstein's phone book, not the secret files that the FBI is keeping, but in Epstein's phone book. So it's a small world. Dogs don't bark at parked cars, and we are winning. I'm not tired of winning yet, but we are winning.
Vaughn Hilliard, it was always remarkable to me when the calls came from inside the House. And Anonymous was the first real prominent one. It ended up being Miles Taylor, who was the chief of staff at Donald Trump's first Department of Homeland Security, who detailed the first real look inside. But it culminated maybe for Trump 1.0 in the January 6th Select Committee's public hearings, where all the witnesses, or 90% of them, were former Trump senior West Wing officials, the vice president's chief of staff, the White House counsel, the former Attorney General Bill Barr, who called Trump's delusions of losing an election, BS. What is the state of denial that the complaints are coming from deep inside the MAGA coalition?
I think, to your point, Nicole, the difficulty here 10 years in, and especially with a lame duck president as this one, who cannot run for another term, is where does the power go from here? And I was here as part of this sort of, MAGA resurrection since 2021, who suggested to me that Marjorie Taylor Greene was disappointed that she was not more seriously considered for the VP slot the second go around, and then was very frustrated that President Trump told her that he did not believe that she could win statewide for either governor or Senate in the state of Georgia. And that is suddenly where you look at somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who over the last 4 years was at about pretty much every rally that you could name in whatever state, from North Carolina to Arizona to Georgia on over. And that is where the conversations that I'm having now, in the words that we're hearing from Marjorie Taylor Greene, they actually make me reflect largely on similar conversations I had back in 2022 with Mo Brooks, the congressman from Alabama who Donald Trump ran out of town. And you folks will recall he actually spoke at that January 6th event, the Stop the Steal event, and said that they were going to take names and kick ass. But when suddenly Mo Brooks got pushed to the side, he was the one that started sounding the alarms that Donald Trump,
Remember the Stop the Steal was so funny because they were saying, like Trump for months on TikTok was, and then TikTok and on X and Twitter was saying, stop the steal, storm the Capitol and stop the steal. And then they're like, was Trump responsible for the riot? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, let's just ignore the fucking 60 days of fucking Twitter messages.
Convince a large swath of the American public that he was getting rid of the coronavirus and that it was safe to go outside with a mask. He is somebody who singularly, in two different terms across two different trade wars, has been able to convince a great many people that short-term economic consequence is going to...
I mean, my fear is that Donald Trump, that the reason he wants to sign the bill is that maybe they deleted the files of him raping minors, because Howard Lutnick was saying they kept videos of everything. And if now Trump is saying, hey, let's release the videos, is he trying to scrub himself, including videos, I believe? I suspect that they have videos of him raping minors. Are they erasing the videos of him raping minors? And that's why they want to release them now? Is that why he's signing on now?
The fact that there's a great many voters who, whether you look at Charles Herbster or Roy Moore or Herschel Walker, that an issue like this, sex trafficking, sexual harassment, sexual assault, not everybody in American politics here in the year of 2025 is given the same leniency as Donald Trump specifically has been.
I mean, the political story is a lot simpler than all of this. Donald Trump is less popular than releasing the Epstein files. Full stop. Releasing the Epstein files is one of the most popular things in American politics. The second most popular, I think, was the economy before Trump wrecked it.
Yeah, I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, listen, this reminds me a little bit of when we used to talk about Liz Cheney. I remember some of my friends, saying, Claire, how can you be saying kind words about Liz Cheney? And I said, well, because she did the right thing at the right time. Yes, we disagreed on many, many things. And obviously, I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene about just about everything. But she read the room, Nicole. She read the room. She has a political antenna here that is more sensitive than Donald Trump, and frankly, than John Barrasso in the United States Senate. She has figured out that she is on the right side of this issue for history, and she's not going anywhere. And I think she also figured it out about the healthcare costs. You know, she's talking about the things that people are worried about. They want the Epstein files released, and they want somebody to pay attention to the fact they can't afford anything. And she's doing both things. So, yeah, and by the way, we've got to give her some props here, because you know what we've been doing on this show for as long as I can remember? We've been saying, why aren't Republicans seeing the light? Why aren't they saying something? Well, at least she may be nuts.
My personal opinion is that, to Tim's point, Marjorie Taylor Greene calling Trump a menace for inciting death threats against her and a swatting of her house and pizza hoaxes to her home is a lot more effective than me saying it, right?
Exactly.
My personal opinion. But Marjorie Taylor Greene aligned herself with QAnon in a way that Liz Cheney never did.
Exactly. No, I don't mean to compare the two. I'm saying there were those people that got cranked.
I'm just banned on TikTok for running a regular podcast. What misinformation? Question mark. Howard Lutnick said they have videos. Ridiculous, dude. I'm just now banned on TikTok, dude. Just now got banned on TikTok, dude. Holy shit, I got banned on TikTok again just now. And all I said was, I just now got banned on TikTok, and all I said is I believe that they have videos of Trump raping minors, and they're trying to scrub the videos, and I suspect that's why Trump is suddenly on board with releasing them. They fucking banned me within 5 minutes. TikTok communist dictator app.
I mean, who knows?
Everything is possible, right?
Times. I think, everybody sees is now looking at that and be like, well, if he could do it, why couldn't I do it? Look, I think that part of it is the fact. I think Megyn Kelly's looking at this and saying, look, nobody's ever won a bet in the Republican Party, at least, betting against Donald Trump at this point. And that's why I think the Marjorie Taylor Greene case is so interesting, right? Because everybody that has tried to go against him within the party has lost, at least as far as primaries are concerned, et cetera. I mean, obviously he lost the 2020 election. A lot of people have, maybe gained something for their soul by going against him, but politically they've lost. And so I think Megyn Kelly is making the safer, the safer bet.
That they're going to erase all the videos of Trump, and they'll just release all the videos of everybody else. And he'll get away scot-free again. They'll erase the videos of him raping kids that Howard Lutnick implied they have.
Like, we wouldn't have been having this discussion a month ago because everybody was scared of Donald Trump and he seemed so strong, and they were making Trump 2028 jokes, and the richest people in the world were folding in front of him. And now it's just has taken this one off-year election in Virginia and New Jersey, plus the Epstein issue, plus the failure to message around the shutdown. And now all of a sudden, I do think you're seeing calculations happening. And that's interesting in itself. The fact that MAGA people are themselves starting to say, hey, there's a future here. And that's a real change from a month ago.
It's so, I totally agree with you, and I hadn't figured out how to say it as artfully as you just did, but, we're rotating around a different set of stars now, it seems, or he may not be, and whether he realizes it or not, it will be an infinite well of reporting for you,
I'm not exactly sure why I was banned from TikTok. All I said was that Howard Lutnick said that Epstein was the biggest blackmailer of all time, and he kept videos of everything. And I put two and two and said, well, maybe they have videos of Trump. Maybe they have videos of Trump raping minors, being inappropriate with minors, which is statutory rape. Maybe, according to Howard Lutnick, they have videos. Maybe they have videos of Trump, because we know he's been there many a times, according to the new revelations of the emails. So putting two in, and now Trump is saying release the Epstein files. Maybe they've erased the videos of him being inappropriate with minors. That's what I said, and TikTok banned me. This is like an app that was known to help Trump get elected. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm trying to be a truth teller, but they keep trying to silence me. I'm not sure why I was banned from going live. All I said is Howard Lutnick said during his interview. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why I was banned from TikTok. All I said was that Howard Lutnick. Well, I guess that answers that question. It's real. The players were talking about it this week, how Jamar Chase spit and Jalen Ramsey had to defend himself. Cameron Hayward got Ramsey's back. Yeah, Cameron Hayward said, we got Ramsey's back. So yeah, I got banned on TikTok. This happened before because I was calling Elon Musk a Nazi, and then they banned me from TikTok. It's like, wow, man. Like, can you quit banning me? Thought I was banned here too for a minute. It said you don't have any live streams. Look, they don't want to. They don't want to let this one go in, dude. They're really trying to block this video, dude. It's weird, dude. It's ridiculous. My live not approved, dude. Ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous, dude. I want to appeal again, dude. Hey, what's up? They just banned me from going live on the... Congresswoman Adelie Picker-Halla of Arizona. Claire is still with us. All I said was, comma, quote, do they have videos of Trump raping minors? What's this? This sound thing? Is this full though?
Which in the grand scheme of things is inconsequential, whether, I can help a constituent in Arizona CD7 or not. Like, if you can lie about that easily and so convincingly, then it's difficult to believe anything else.
Congresswoman, congratulations. I want to talk a little politics with you. I was watching with interest to see how the Hispanic voters in New Jersey shifted back to the Republican Party in the elections just recently. Talk to us about what's going on in Arizona. You are the essence of a battleground state in so many ways. It's not like, it's a little bit like it used to be in Missouri. Close elections are the norm in statewide elections. What's going on there with the politics locally as it relates to the Hispanic voters and Donald Trump?
Well, I can tell you specifically in Arizona CD7, when you see your friends, your family, business owners that you know being ripped and kidnapped off the street by masked people, it changes your perspective quite a bit, because I believe that so many people fell into this trap of, well, Trump is talking about the price of eggs, and so he's going to help us. Trump is talking about, all these people that are taking advantage of a system, he's going to help us. And, all these people that shouldn't be here, they're all going to go, but only the criminals, not everyone else. And literally everything that Trump has promised, he's gone back and he's lied about. And everyone can see how our economy is suffering under this administration and how they're cruel. Like, this is just an exercise in cruelty. Like, how much could we make people suffer? And then let's add to that. And every time someone comes out with some new initiative, I mean, the fact that now you can literally look at someone like me and say, I don't think she's here legally, I'm going to go ahead and pull her over and see what happens. That's literally what's happening throughout our district in Arizona. And I know that it's happening across the nation, and people are having a lot of buyer's remorse. They bought into this idea that Trump was going to help, and now all he's done is really hurt everybody that isn't like him. If you're not a billionaire and you're not a Caucasian white male who believes, in whatever he says, then you're part of the other, and he doesn't care about the other.
We just had a conversation in the previous block about this moment for him politically, and as you watch Marjorie Taylor Greene break with him, as you watch Congressman Massey break with him and push for the release of the Epstein files, something Donald Trump doesn't want, What do you see as an opportunity for bipartisanship?
Well, I think that this case highlights the fact that there is a possibility to do that. And that if we can actually talk about real issues and not the politics of it, like let's not go with worst case scenarios either way. Can we talk about how we're going to help the average working family? Because that's the vast majority of us. How are we going to positively impact the opportunity for people to live their American dream, to buy a home, to go send their kids to college, to have an opportunity for those children to come back to their communities and improve the quality of life there? A lot of those pathways don't exist right now. I think about my daughter who's a freshman in college, and in 3 years from now, when she graduates, is she going to be able to be gainfully employed enough to be able to put down on a little tiny house? Those opportunities don't exist anymore. And we have to make sure that we build that in so that everybody can reach their own American dream. Whatever it is.
It's been great following I was one of those people who I agreed with you. I said, there's no way they'd be that transparent and not swear her in. And Johnson had sworn in 2 Republicans. So I said, oh, even he won't be able to be that much of a hypocrite. So they surprised me at that, on that front as well. Again, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. I hope our conversations are to be continued. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
After the break for us, we'll show you a brand new ad from the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse. They're calling for more lawmakers to join the bipartisan effort for the vote expected to happen tomorrow.
You're silly, dude. You're like, all I said was, do they have videos of Trump raping kids? Yeah, dude, but they don't like people saying that, dude. So that's why. You can't just say, hey, I suspect they have videos of Trump raping, and then like nothing happened, dude. That's like the kind of shit they don't like, man. So you're not really trying to fit in on the app. You're just like crash and burn, doing whatever you want. So I don't know. YouTube might be better. I see. I think I'm being tame, dude, and then they're like banning me for what I think is tame. That was my cat. Let's see if they allow criticism of their app. It was funny, man. I don't know. I was trying to find my Rolling Stones videos here, man. Yeah, they don't like some of this content. Hey, what's this? Alright, I'll put this one out. Cut loose from the booth. Does it sound like shit though? Make sure they have the whole thing, yeah. Shit.
Julie, I just have to ask you, did you think you'd see this moment where the victims seem to be driving the political conversation, maybe for the first time?
You know, they did come forward pretty powerfully in the beginning when I wrote my series back in 2018. And there was a movement briefly in Congress to get to the bottom of this case and to find out who else was responsible for these crimes. But then as with anything in Washington, it became less and less of the, you know, the shiny object that they were looking at, and it got quiet again. So I hope that this time we don't forget about these women. We don't forget about this crime, because if we do not get to the bottom of this, we're doomed to repeat these same kinds of crimes again against children.
What are you looking for if the files are released? What is in there? What unanswered questions are in there?
Well, for me, the most unanswered questions are whether the DOJ did its job, whether FBI pursued everything that they should have pursued. Because, of course, back in 2008, when this case kind of got buried and Epstein got away with it, it was largely because they did not continue to pursue this crime the way that they should have. And so my hope is that since, you know, it's been a very long time, decades, that this case has been out in the public now, and one would think or hope that the DOJ and FBI really listen to these victims over the years, because the story really is that more and more of these survivors came forward and told their stories to the FBI. So those stories are in these files. So we'll have to see whether these women were listened to, whether their cases were even investigated.
So the number is 1,000 girls that were trafficked. The ages are as young as 14 and younger. And Kash Patel is a source for saying that there are hours and hours and hours of videotape. He said that on Joe Rogan's podcast. What, in your view, are the possible explanations?
He also called Trump diabolical evil. If Epstein called Trump diabolical evil, then think about that.
People in MAGA land were talking about that I would hear about. I would say, what are they talking about? I do believe that they have to have some kind of digital or video evidence because they did, of course, seize a lot of Epstein's computers and other kinds of digital equipment from his home in New York at the time that he was arrested. So I would hope that they went through all that information, and they should have all his emails. They should have a lot of this information. But the question again is, did the FBI do anything with it? Maybe there were reasons they couldn't. Maybe the files were corrupted. I don't know the answers to those, but we hope that these files or these records that they're going to release will hopefully give us some answers.
The victims, even some that I've interviewed, have talked about Ghislaine Maxwell's role, not just in grooming them and pulling them into the trafficking operation, but in the sexual abuse itself, taking their clothes off and participating in the sexual abuse of the girls. What do you think about, one, Todd Blanche going down and interviewing her, and two, the treatment she's getting at a minimum security prison, and three, all the talk about a possible commutation or pardon?
I hope that there are some people that are asking these hard questions about why Ghislaine Maxwell was just, mysteriously taken to a new prison, one where she's treated and given a lot more good amenities there. And I just think that everybody should be asking the question of how and why did that happen? The fact that the Bureau of Prisons isn't answering any of these questions, I think is very telling. One has to wonder whether she has some information about some important people that she's threatened to expose if, in fact, they do not give her better treatment and or even a pardon.
It's incredible. No one's going anywhere. We'll all be back with more on what we expect to happen tomorrow on Capitol Hill. Stay with us.
Yeah, she finally said what I've been wanting him to say about the Howard Lutnick saying that they have videos. And I'm glad that Nicole Wallace said that, man, that they have videos of Trump. And who knows what are in those videos. She's finally, they're starting to say what I've been saying for 2 days. They're like a little afraid to pull punches, but, I've been saying that for a couple days. What if they have videos and that's what they're holding back? And what if they release everything except the Trump information? So I forget what else I was going to say, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you haven't seen this yet, then.
Paying for electricity, you could be missing out on free government assistance to go solar. Most people don't know this, but in 2005, the federal government passed the Energy Policy Act. This federal law granted everyday homeowners access to thousands of dollars to invest in upgrading their homes with solar panels. This is why you've seen so many of your neighbors going solar over the years.
He's one of President Trump's top cabinet officials, and now Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is speaking out about convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Lutnick, who once lived next door to Epstein, told a New York Post podcast Epstein once gave him a tour of his home, saying Epstein's high-profile associates not only knew of his behavior, but that some even participated.
Did they see it and ignore it, or no, they participated? Right. That's what
they participated. Get him. So this implies Trump has videos of Trump, right?
Without providing evidence, Lutnick saying he believes Epstein may have traded alleged blackmail videos for a lesser prison sentence during his first criminal case in 2008.
I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence.
He also described Epstein as, quote, gross.
I say to him.
So there you go. They had videos of Epstein. So as soon as Trump said, let's release the videos, as soon as Trump said, I'm on board, let's release the files, I said, oh no, they must have erased his videos of him raping minors. And listen, people are shocked when they hear me say that. And I'm intending to shock you, but even if you want to pretend it's just a child quietly bending over and there's no, viciousness, there's no rape, there's no tears, there's no tearing off of clothes, there's just a submissive underage. It's still statutory rape. You could still say raping minors. It's statutory rape. I don't know that it's a violent, but they've said in Virginia Jeffries' book, the British guy, was it Prince Andrew or one of those guys, was like violently choking her to death and turning her purple. And if that's the case, Epstein called Trump a diabolical evil, but didn't call them diabolical evil. They said towards the end, Epstein started to hate Donald Trump. Here, let's saw this. There's a new video I just caught. Let's see what this is. See if we could catch some new news here. Brian Tyler Cohen's pretty good.
You're watching the Legal Breakdown.
Before we start, I'll just run down. I do like Brian Tyler Cohen. I like David Pakman. David Pakman covering the election interference. He does two of them. He does one and a follow-up. It's very good. And he's skeptic. He says, no, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, and gives the guy opportunity to overcome each objection. I also don't believe it. However, I do think there's something fishy. It is a bit odd. I do smell a fish, but I don't see the frying pan. I don't know. I suspected all along that the reason, because everything that Trump says is what he does. And so if Trump is sitting there saying, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, and he knows for a fact it's rigged, that means he rigged it himself. You know what I mean? If Trump's saying it's rigged, it's because he rigged it himself. And so I was like, and I've been saying this for a couple of years, I said, I bet that Trump got about 10 million Russian votes, and that's why he's so mad that Biden won. And he's, well, I know it's rigged. So he thinks Biden rigged it, and he's going to expose Biden's rigging. And they did, during the 2020 election, the most counted election of all time. Was counted 2,000 times by hand. The only real fraud they found were for Trump. There was like a dozen, 10 to 100 ballots, fake Trump ballots. So like, I thought that was funny that the only fake ballots they found were pro-Trump. But so what the Pac-Man interview was saying is that the election machines weren't hacked, but there is way to the Bluetooth is possible to get into there locally, and also the voting registrations were hacked by Russia. The voting registrations were hacked by Russia, so they looked at all the voting registration, and all they have to do is look at the people who haven't voted in 15 years. Trump thinks he's smart. It is actually, it's kind of like a nefarious idea, but it's like really kind of simple when you think about it. They just find, people who haven't voted in 10, 15, 20 years and vote on their behalf in front of Trump, and nobody's the wiser. I bet if people scour non-voters, all the non-voters, go look and see, if you're like, 50 years old or something, you've never voted in your life, go look and see if you voted or not. Like, I don't know, how do I check so see if you voted for Trump, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I'd never voted in my life, but you do have a vote registered for Trump. That would prove it, because they're trying to prove it. But anyway, I like Pac-Man because he was skeptical. He wasn't like all hook, line, and sinker, not like every conspiracy theory is true, like MTG used to be. But I like Pac-Man. I like Chris Norland. I like Katie Fang a lot. I like Joy Reid. I like, obviously, the big heavyweights, Maddow and Chris Hayes and Lawrence O'Donnell. On CNN, I like Katie Hunt. I like Katie Tur. I like Brian Cohen. I like Adam Mockler. I like Luke Beasley. I like Midas Touch. I like a little bit, but their association with Michael Cohen kind of makes me afraid of them. But I like Ben actually. The Ben is my favorite. The way he talks when he doesn't pull punches, and he's professional, and he carries his receipts. So I do like Ben himself, but the whole network I'm a little weary of because of Michael Cohen's association, particularly the way he's covering Katie Johnson. I don't believe he's an adversary of Katie Johnson, and I don't like that. I think that there's still something going on there. There's a non-disclosure agreement that was violated by Stormy Daniels' deal, that Trump violated the Stormy Daniels non-disclosure agreement, but did he violate the Katie Johnson? The Katie Johnson, Michael Cohen is still under the NDA, and he can get sued if he blows that up. So I think he's still covering for Katie Johnson. That's why I don't trust the Midas Network completely. I don't see them, correct me if I'm wrong, they have touched on Katie. They haven't really dug deep into Katie Johnson. And maybe I'm wrong, but so I like them a little bit. I like Midas, but I don't love them. They're a little sensationalist, and you do have to even worry the way. Listen, Project 2025 said they like Social Security. They don't want to cancel Social Security. They might want to privatize it and run it through someone like Elon Musk, but they don't want to cancel it. Even Nazi Germany had Social Security, and even Russia maintained Social Security. They believe in helping the elderly and the disabled, but they might want to make it harder to get on. They might want to make it harder for brown skin. They might want to kick brown skin people. My fear was they were going to kick off anyone who voted for Kamala Harris, but I don't think they're going to do that, man. Anymore, and so there was some sensationalism, and the phone system stinks. They were, the phone system, they're the people are waiting. Look, and you've always waited I've waited 8 hours on the phone, and this was 7 years ago. It's always been 3-hour wait on Social Security, and so I wasn't as freaked out when they're like saying, the phone system is, the phone system always sucked. Or maybe Elon Musk would make it better. I'm like not extremely close-minded. Listen, Elon Musk is a Nazi who saluted Hitler. I don't like him one bit. However, maybe he could have fixed the phone system. The phone system sucks. I've sat on the phone for fucking 4 hours myself. It doesn't matter who's the president, So they don't want to cancel. They might want to privatize it, but they don't. But there was some fear mongering that they could cancel it, and I think they want to get people on the streets protesting. So but I love Rachel Maddow, and I messaged her and said, listen, can you tone down the social? But they are warning people it's important to keep an eye on, and so like the public keeps an eye on it and say, hey, hands off. So, but like the New Deal, like singling out the 8 Democrats who didn't vote on the New Deal. I didn't, it's like, listen, you don't have to like hate everybody. It's not fire and brimstone. In Bill Clinton's time, Democrats and Republicans voted on each other's issues. Democrats would vote Republican and Republicans would vote Democrat. It wasn't so polarized like, oh my God, Fetterman voted on this. Oh my God, he's a traitor. Oh my God, Susan Collins voted. No, Massey's not a traitor. MTG's not a traitor. Susan Collins isn't a traitor. Fetterman's not a traitor. Chuck Schumer's not a traitor. They're fucking voting for their constituents. You're not always supposed to agree on. You're not supposed to just vote Democrat, whatever it is, and vote Republican. You're supposed to actually read the thing and think for yourself. And suddenly it's like in vogue to persecute whoever voted for the other side. I hate that, dude. I can't stand that, dude. To me, Fetterman was a hero in this case. I didn't like when he whatever last time, but this time, hey, to me, Fetterman, hey, he got food into my belly. The Democrats got an increase in food benefits. They got the tax of living increase into it. It went up $36. Social Security's going up $36. Federal workers have to be rehired. 10,000 federal workers have to be rehired. And they're going to vote. They have 2 months to vote on the health care thing. And they're not going to vote in good faith. Yeah, well, you can't just sit there and crucify Fetterman and crucify everyone and start this vicious infighting campaign of the Democrats self-destructing again because the Republicans might not vote. And guess what? They have to vote, okay? They have this fucking thing. It's up in December regardless. And the Republicans have the fucking House and the Senate, and the Democrats can't just delay forever, dude. They have to vote. So you have 2 months to fucking vote on it. 2 months to talk about it. 2 months to work the media on the issues. First they'll deal with this Epstein thing, and then they'll attack the healthcare thing all of December. It's a good thing. They're going to have to vote. They have to move forward. This was a win. Quit sitting around saying, the 8 Democrats, that Wisconsin, Senator Kaine, I love that guy. The other senator, the woman, I love that woman. She did a great job. 8 senators, great job. Anyway, I like Brian Cohen. Let's see what they're saying here.
And it looks like Kash Patel is in some hot water. FBI director
for using SWAT agents, FBI SWAT agents as a security perk for his girlfriend. I'm going to put a quote up here on the screen from a former senior FBI agent. There is no legitimate justification for this. This is a clear abuse of position and misuse of government resources. She is not his spouse, does not live in the same house or even the same city. So first and foremost, what happens in the event that you have a clear abuse of government
resources, and yet you are the person at the top of the food chain in an administration that seems perfectly
well, I don't know if you've seen the videos of him, Kash Patel, ripping the previous... See, I honestly, I don't give a fuck about this, dude. I don't care if Comey used the fucking plane. Kash Patel, I don't give a fuck if he uses a plane. But the thing is that he was saying, he was ranting on and on about the previous administration using the planes. And like the first thing he does, he's like, hey, I'll pick you up in my FBI plane, baby. I mean, it's cool. I wish I could use the FBI plane to pick up dates. That would be pretty cool and awesome. But he was like really, on his podcast, was really rallying against this behavior that he's doing.
To abuse their positions. What happens is exactly nothing, Brian.
Fortunately, what should happen, this should at least be taken up as an administrative matter. The person who is misusing government resources, government property, government funds, or government employees should be investigated by,
right, listen,
for
man,
example...
I'm not going to show the full broadcast because you guys can watch it on your own. You can go watch the Brian Cohen. If you're watching me, you can go watch the full Brian Cohen. It's 20 minutes long. It's about Kash Patel misusing resources, and it'll go on about, like I was saying, what he said last time and how it's illegal and in great details about it. But I want to see this... There's new news. Trump gets very sick.
Donald Trump just wrapped up a press conference in the Oval Office where he looked and sounded very sick when he was asked why he looked and sounded that way. He said that he had just gotten off a...
And I encourage you to go to the Midas Network and subscribe there. As I'm showing their stuff, so feel free to go look at their stuff and subscribe over there.
A call with the leader of another
nation, and he was yelling at them about trade negotiations. I think the reason he looked and sounded so sick was over his panic and meltdowns over the release of those Epstein emails and the vote that will be.
And this is what I wanted to say too, was I don't think listen, I don't hate Trump. I don't hate wealthy people. I don't like the policies. I don't like the DEI, the war on civil rights is some Mussolini type shit. Look, DEI, Mussolini's war was on civil rights, and this is the DEI shit that you're seeing. I don't like that bullshit. I believe in equal rights of all. What the Republicans don't look, I'll always pause there, but what the Republicans don't realize is that if you have the poor people going to college, then it makes America great because all the poor people get to go to college, and then you have more professors and more creators and more inventors and more scientists and the best technology, and then America's great through and when I was growing up in the 80s, we were the best in the Olympics, the best of the inventors, the best in music, you know what I mean? And that's done through like college education and hard work. It's not a magic wand. And yeah, I do like trade school is great. But don't just dismantle the structures of education and, they want to just try to discredit Harvard, like, because Obama got a 4.0. I don't think I could get a 4.0 at Harvard. I got about a 3.2 at Pitt, and struggled. I got a C minus in calculus. Obama's like A plus. You know what I mean? And so like the guy's freaking smart, man, and I respect that. And in the institutions, these MAGA Republicans, they don't respect Harvard. They don't respect the 4.0 at Harvard. So, like, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I was saying that I think I don't wish anyone to get sick. I'd love Trump to have a nice, long life, but he looks terrible. He's this big, tough, supposed to be a big, tough man, but he puts makeup on every day. Puts for 90 minutes. He sounds like an old woman talking about the shiny marble floors and the shiny chandeliers, and he's getting his hand. It simply looks marvelous, and he's talking to a general. Oh, you look good. I wish I could look as good as you. He sounds like an old woman the way he talks. So I don't know why they think he's the big tough guy just because he is not afraid to call nicknames. Marjorie Taylor Brown is like the dumbest nickname. It's not hitting this time. You know what I mean? But I don't hate Trump. I feel bad for the guy. He wants people to love him, but he doesn't get it. Trump, if you want to win me over, there's one thing you can do. I wish you would listen. Trump, if you want to win me over, this is what you could do. You could raise Social Security about $1,000 per person. And so, or even like $250 per person, raise it significantly. They raise it $30 a year, which I'm grateful for. Hey, that's like one meal out a year. I'm grateful for that. But why don't you raise Social Security $200 a month and $1,000 a month, so all the elderly people can go to the movies and not just cover their rent? Because most of the elderly and disabled, the Social Security goes to rent and bills. There's not a lot of money left over, if anything, to do anything. They never go out. So have this like spending money. Here's $200 a month spending money that you have to spend, and truly help out the elderly and disabled people. Say, hey, you know what? Maybe Donald Trump watched some documentaries about the rainforest and say, like, you know what? We need to stop destroying the rainforest. Maybe this environmentalism isn't a scam. Can we figure out how to make money and protect the environment? Why is it like just burn, 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 torture and burn, torture and burn? There's no meeting in the middle with this guy. It's supposed to be meeting in the middle. And when Bill Clinton was president, I don't know why Trump hates Clinton. I think he supported Clinton financially. He contributed to Clinton's campaign. So I'm a little confused about that. But for some reason he hates Clinton. But back when Clinton was president, everyone voted on each other's issues. It wasn't so polarized like it is now. But I was just saying, I think what's going to happen is he's going to die under the weight of this, because there's probably videos of him, like Howard Lutnick was saying, and then he ends up dying under the pressure, and they just all throw him under the bus post-mortem. And so he forever goes down in history as like the pedo terrible president. They just blame him for everything, all the bad shit. The Republicans all walk away scot-free and just I said in the first term, I wish Donald would just retire and go back to being a hotel mom. See, but Howard Stern and they were saying that he can't just go back to being a hotel mogul because all his hotels are like going out of business. The Atlantic City casino went out of business. His vodka went out of business. The Trump University was a scam. He has 18 failed businesses. The Apprentice show, it wasn't like something that lasted forever. It was 2 or 3 seasons, and then it tanked, and it got canceled. Atlantic City Casino is a big empty, there's nothing there. And so his businesses were failing, and now he prospered $1.3 billion already in the first 9 months. And so they're building golf courses now in Ireland and shit like that, and making deals in Hungary. And I'm not against making money. The funny thing is, they go, Bernie Sanders gets paid $100,000 for speaking engagements. Bro, Trump is building fucking golf courses in Hungary. But they don't even care about that. I don't care that Bernie Sanders makes $100,000. Yeah, it sounds about right. Why shouldn't he?
Be taking place soon.
In the House of
Trump could make money speaking engagements too.
Files, and he claimed that he had never.
But yeah, this is kind of what I've been worried about. That Trump's going to have a. I don't. You know what I want? I want Trump to retire, have a nice long life on a beach somewhere, enjoy his money, enjoy his life. He doesn't need this. He can go to the Virgin Islands, kick his feet up, and go to Thailand and fucking go fuck 17-year-olds all you want. You know, just don't fucking destroy the government and like take food out of. 40 million people rely on food stamps, man. You know. And then what I think might happen is if he gets sick and dies, then they'll just dump everything on him, man. Let's see what this is.
Met with Epstein at all. He goes, I didn't know that guy
at all. Donald, I think there are more pictures with you and Epstein than the amount of pictures I've seen with you and your children. But sure, Donald Trump also claimed that he would buy at files. Donald Trump was asked questions about the release of the Epstein files, and he claimed that he had never met with Epstein at all. He goes, I didn't know that guy at all. Donald, I think there are more pictures with you and Epstein than the amount of pictures I've seen with you and your children. But sure, Donald Trump also claimed that he would be willing to release the Epstein files if a bill was placed on his desk. He goes, yeah, I'd sign it into law to release the Epstein files. He goes, but it'll never be enough for everybody. He goes, because it's one gigantic hoax. Let's be very clear. Trump is going to do anything in his power to avoid releasing those files, and he's going to claim, well, now that the Department of Justice is involved in an investigation, I wanted to release it, but I can't release it now. Donald Trump also claimed that inflation was lessening and that prices were lowering. Also, the purpose of this purported press conference, he had the head of FIFA in there once again. It feels like every other week he has the head of FIFA in the Oval Office, doesn't it? And he was using this press conference also to threaten different cities like Los Angeles and Seattle and say, if you don't beg me for help, maybe the games won't take place. Maybe the World Cup isn't going to take place in your cities. So let me just show you what went down. Here, a reporter asked Donald Trump about his voice that sounds rough. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, I have a question about Venezuela, but can I just first ask, the health of the president's always news. Your voice sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade in a country, and I straightened it out. But I blew my stack at these people.
Well, it sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about Venezuela? You suggested...
Sounds there what?
It sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about Venezuela?
I thought you said there was a polyp, and I said... I don't want to hear that.
And Donald Trump, you heard him say there, he was yelling at someone stupid. He said, I was yelling at someone who was being stupid. Then Donald Trump says that I wasn't with Epstein at all, ever. Play this clip.
I believe that many of the people some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party.
Really, at all? Seriously? Then Donald Trump says on Epstein, it's like the Russia hoax. Here, play this clip.
Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough.
What the fuck is he talking about, dude? Nobody cares about Kennedy or RFK anymore. I mean, the Kennedy thing was cool, man. Yeah, that was cool. The Kennedy thing was cool. The Amelia Earhart thing. What the fuck, dude? This is just today, so it's not good, man.
We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages. 50,000.
There's 50,000 pages. There's 50,000 pages. And his name is in all over them. There's 50,000. Look how red his face is. He's red. I've hardly never seen a face so red. The most reddest face in history. There's 50,000 pages, and his name is in them more than Epstein himself. He's called a diabolical evil who's been around the girls. The Russia host. The The Mueller report was real. The Steele dossier was real. The Mueller report was real. The Steele dossier was real. He is best friends with Russia. He asked Russia to interfere right on the thing. Hey, if you're out there, mess up Hillary. And then they hacked the thing and released the files. He rolled out the red carpet for Russia. He had our troops on their hands and knees, taping the red carpet down for Vladimir Putin. He treats Vladimir Putin nicer than he treats President Zelensky. Back in the 1980s, the Russians used to rent out his properties and do whatever they wanted in his buildings. That's why he was Krasnov. The Russia. They said Vladimir Putin was able to line up his tanks along the border because he expects us to forget we're supposed to just forget the first impeachment. He was impeached for holding the defense money back while he was withholding the defense funds. For 6 months, Russia was able to stack their troops along their border. During the first impeachment, this is why Trump's responsible for the first war. I started to think maybe he's helping Vladimir Putin out on purpose. He wants to withhold the funding to help Putin out, his buddy. I saw on Facebook, this is not a credible source by any means, but someone said on Facebook, they just don't have only videos of him with P. Go look up, first of all, Trump saying in Utah that he doesn't like P. He's a germaphobe. He definitely doesn't like P. And Melania wouldn't be down with the P either. Really weird denial in Utah he made. But the thing I saw on Facebook that he also has videos of him raping boys. That he wasn't only raping girls, he was also into raping boys. Again, my source is a Russian Facebook, Twitter post. So there it is. I'm not Rachel Maddow. It was even in Russian. They said it was a Russian post. It said Russia was posting videos of Melania like half naked, and they had a billboard of Melania naked. They put out, and then. So I saw in Russia, they said, we also have videos of him raping boys. I don't know if this is a credible source or not. You guys go resources. But Russia, like we just supposed to forget the first impeachment. I hate when he says that, the Russia hoax. He loves Russia. Back in 2015, Russia hacked the emails, and then the Mueller report showed there were 80,000 Facebook groups that were saying, in groups that specifically, I experienced this on the ground level, man, when Bernie Sanders was lost, and then they passed the baton to Hillary, and Bernie was saying, listen, you have to support Hillary. And they were saying, fuck Hillary, and a lot of Bernie Sanders. So there were Facebook groups that said, that, hey, Super Dave, welcome. I'm streaming on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and watch YouTube Sunny Hippies. I really appreciate it. I was talking about how Trump always says Mueller, the Mueller report. There were 80,000 Facebook groups that were when Bernie Sanders lost, and people were saying, fuck Hillary Clinton, fuck Hillary Clinton. And Bernie Sanders himself is saying, no, we have to vote for Hillary. We have to vote for Hillary. We can't have this guy. You know, we can't have this guy. We have to vote for Hillary. And so there were 80,000 Facebook groups, Bernie Sanders fans who like Trump, Bernie Sanders fans who hate Hillary. And these are groups that are like programmed to keep the infighting, to keep the divide. It says right in the Mueller report, to divide the Democrats. It still goes on now. The Democrats who hate Hakeem Jeffers, the Democrats who hate Chuck, the Democrats who hate OC. And this is Russia's dividing. But now we have Elon Musk bots who are involved with it. It used to be only Russia. It used to be in the 70s and 60s and 50s. It was Russians holding rallies in local cities for the candidate they like. They used to hold rallies in cities physically and get permits to rally and pretend they were Americans, and they would rally for the candidate they like on the streets in the 50s, and then they moved to the internet. They were doing it on Facebook. It shows in the Mueller report. I experienced it in all these Facebook groups when I was going through it in 2015. I was arguing, we have to vote for Hillary. We have to vote for Hillary. And they, fuck you, Sunny Hippies. Fuck you, Sunny Hippies. You know, I'm not voting for Hillary. Even Bernie Sanders, and this was me even Bernie Sanders says vote for Hillary. Bernie Sanders says vote for Hillary. Fuck you. This group says not to. The Russian Facebook group says not to. So I experienced the Russian interference personally on the ground, and it was vicious and tough. And now I'm experiencing it again in the form of Elon Musk bots. But with this Epstein hoax, they're getting weaker and weaker because they're saying really weird things like the Democrats tried to withhold the Epstein files. Like complete nonsense. When the Democrats are sitting here, you could see the vote was 214 to 4. You know what I mean? The public record, the vote is right there. So it's like they're like stupid lies at this point. The bots are getting like, I don't know. It's getting hard to defend when it's a pedophile that everyone, you know what I mean? So I just hate when he says Russia, Russia, Russia. It makes my skin crawl because the first impeachment, he was withholding the defense funding. During the 6 months that Trump withheld the defense funding, that's when Vladimir Putin aligned troops along the border because they didn't have the missiles, the Hellfire missiles, to protect themselves. So they lined trunks along the border during that 6 months. Oh, the Russia, Russia, Russia. No, you were impeached for withholding defense funding in the Ukraine to protect against Russia. I think maybe doing Putin a favor. In retrospect, maybe it wasn't only about Joe Biden, it was about helping out his buddy Putin. And even if you want to forget about that, the red carpet for Russia, he was rolled out the red carpet. He just said the other day he spent 2 hours on the phone with Russia. I spent 2 hours on the phone with Putin. He just said the other day. So why the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax? What hoax? You love Russia, bro.
I believe that some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time.
Good. Investigate everybody, including yourself. Let's not redact anything except the victims' names. Okay, how about that? How about no deleted videos? And no, you were with them all the time, Donald. You were with them all the time. The records we already have, so 4-7. Clinton 4. I'm not saying it's a competition. But he just said he's on record more times than the others. But he never takes responsibility for anything in his life. These are Nepo babies, man. These are fucking Nepo babies. Elon Musk is a Nepo baby. I urge everyone who's watching this video right now, and it looks like 0 or 1, but if anyone's watching this in the future, look up E-Roll Musk and the E-Roll Musk interviews. Just look them all up. He's like having kids with his kids. And Elon Musk is a Nepo baby who's taking his Hitler-loving family, his apartheid-loving family. They're diamond traders, not like meet-me diamond traders. They're like real diamond traders, taking his dad's mineral money and his diamond money and recycling it in America. He frauded the government. The first business he ever had was Hyperloop, where he frauded the government out of money. And then he bought Tesla and pretended to be a liberal environmentalist when he doesn't give a fuck about saving the environment at all whatsoever. He wants to burn the earth up and take the supreme genetics to Mars. Like he conned everybody. So it's not like Elon Musk invented electric cars and he's trying to save the environment. No, like I thought, but no, he just recycled his daddy's. They go around saying things like the blacks are fucking too many. There's too many black babies, so we need more white babies. That's why they have like 32 kids between E-Roll and Elon. There's like 32 of them, dude. Half of them look like mutants. I hate to say it. It's because they're like born out of incest. I hate to criticize anybody that they're victimized. They're victim of the dad. The dad was just raping the 7-year-old boy, molesting his buttocks. He complained at school just the other day. One of them was being molested, reached out to Elon. Elon ignored her. These are the leaders that MAGA wants. The Harvey Weinstein type of people, like rape women, put them into porn, rape women, put them in the sex slave industry. Trump's buddies like Tate, Putin, Epstein. But he's going to want to pardon Harvey Weinstein next. He's talking about pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, moved her to where she's eating ice cream and gets puppies allowed and had all the laws rewritten, just broke all the laws just to get her in there so she could say, "Oh, I love Mr. Trump. He's completely innocent. I never seen him at the house. I've never seen him on the couch. I've never seen him on the massage table. I never seen him in the kitchen fucking a 15-year-old. Oh no, Mr. Trump is perfectly innocent. By the way, Mr. Trump, can I have a pardon?" I mean, this is what we're living through, dude. So when he says Russia, Russia, I wasn't going to talk about any of that, but he goes, Russia, Russia, Russia. Bro, you fucking got impeached for holding defense funding. Because he withheld defense funding, Vladimir Putin assembled his troops along the border. It's Trump's war. This is Trump's war. The Ukraine war was started by this guy. This guy is responsible for the Ukraine war. I stopped fucking 8 wars. He started the Ukraine war because he held the defense funding back. And during that 6 months of time, Vladimir Putin assembled his troops along the border, his tanks along the border, the troops along the border during the 6 months that Ukraine couldn't defend itself. And then as soon as Biden gets into president, they attacked. And then he tries to blame Biden. No, dude, you're the one who withheld the defense funding for 6 months. He just blames Biden for everything. Biden fixed the economy. He's destroyed the economy. The economy stinks. My eggs are fucking more expensive. My Reese's cups used to be $2. Now they're $3.50. My fucking chips used to be $4.99. Now they're $7.99.
I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens.
And Trump goes, we have nothing to do with Epstein. It's all the Democrats. Go after the Democrats, not me, even though my name appears on more than half of all of the email threads in connection with the Epstein emails that were released. He goes, I've got nothing to do with it. Go after the Democrats. Play this clip.
You posted on Truth Social last night. You urged House Republicans to vote in favor of this Epstein release bill they're going to vote on tomorrow. I just want to be super clear on your position. Do you want to see that pass the Senate? Would you sign that bill if it gets to your desk?
I do want to. Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman.
What we want? We want nothing to do with Epstein. Dude, you were fucking best friends with Epstein, Chuck and Todd. We want nothing to do with Epstein.
I want for people to recognize the great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability.
Dude, you haven't done a good job on anything, man. My fucking prices are twice as high, you fucking jackass.
When he does not release the
You're
files,
raping minors.
There was an investigation into the Democrats.
You're
So
raping
I was
minors.
just doing
My
what I'm
prices are
required
twice
to by
as
law,
high, you
and the
fucking
House
liar.
Oversight is not entitled to documents because the DOJ tells me we can't turn over those documents right now during a pending investigation. And to be clear, whether Democrats are on the list and in the files, whether Republicans are, it doesn't make a difference. Just release the files already. What are we even talking about here? So then a reporter asked Donald Trump, so you would sign into law something from Congress to release the files? Is that what you're saying? Here, play this clip.
With that, at a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for any, I don't, they can do whatever they want.
You'd sign
We'll
it
give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time. Yep.
He goes, sure, I would. Okay, we know he's lying. So a few things can be happening here. Either the Senate is